Hi, I'd like to talk to you about three types of questions that might be in an international trade section. So let's start it out with this one right here. Let's start out with a comparative disadvantage. So we have the United States. The United States has higher prices for sugar. And the Caribbean, so the United States has a comparative disadvantage. The Caribbean has a comparative advantage. Let's quickly graph that. So up here, let me bring in my pen. There we go. So if we're going to graph it, start out with the supply and demand. We're going to assume a competitive market for sugar, quantity down the horizontal, price on the vertical axis. Here's my supply of sugar in the United States. Here's my demand for sugar in the United States. And the world price, let's do green. Let's have a world price down here. And this is, so this would be my price in the world. So the United States has these higher prices up here. Here's the equilibrium quantity. But now if they open up trade, American consumers can buy all this sugar at lower prices. That's supposed to, looks like a D, doesn't it? There's my lower world price. I'm going to put W for world. Unfortunately for producers, the world price means some of that sugar production in the United States uses a lot of fertilizer, other higher costs. And so this amount of production right here, right there, is lost. So U.S. production, let's actually draw our original point right here. Here's the original quantity in the United States. Here's the original higher price. So price goes down. Domestic production or domestic consumption goes up. Domestic production goes down. So in this case, it doesn't shift, it's just a movement along the curves. So quantity demanded in the United States goes up, quantity supplied goes down. This isn't a shortage, it's now imports. So let's take a look at it. Which one works? The price of sugar would not rise, so it's got to be C or D. Price of sugar would fall, and the number of workers in the U.S. sugar industry would rise. Nope. Looks like it's D. The price of sugar would fall, the number of workers in the U.S. sugar industry would fall, because it's asking what about the US number of workers employed in the U.S. sugar industry. Let's go to the next one. Okay, this is the same one. All I've done is change it from, switch it. So instead of looking at the U.S., we're looking at the Caribbean. So let's graph it again. Start out with a first quadrant graph for all of you into geometry. Here's our supply curve of the Caribbean in this case. Here's our demand curve in the Caribbean. Now the Caribbean was starting out with this price down here, which was below the world price. But now there's money to be made. Let's turn it to green. There's a higher world price for that Caribbean sugar. The price can go up. What higher prices? Law of supply says quantity supplied goes up. Higher prices, law of demand says quantity demanded goes down. People buy less at lower prices. So we just showed price went up, quantity, supposed to be a Q, quantity supplied went up, quantity demanded went down. And what does that extra? That looks like a surplus, but it's not. In this case, it's exports to the U.S. So, which means now that they're producing more sugar, they need more workers. So the price of sugar would rise. So it's going to be A or B, it looks like. And the number of workers in the sugar industry would, looks like A. Both of them would go up. Okay, let's go to the next one. Tariffs and quotas. And I borrowed this graph from Cowan and Tabarrok's excellent book. And so we have the tariff on sugar, let's assume at first. And so let's look at these different areas. This is a country with a comparative disadvantage. The equilibrium price would have been up here, but by trade they were able to get to a lower price. But now the domestic producers are likely saying, hey, protect us. We don't like this. And so instead of $9, they get a tariff. 20 minus 9 is what, $11 tariff. And so this area right, well, they get a higher price. This area right here would be extra producer surplus, area A. Area B, let's just run through these questions. And let's put it in this color. Let's put it in green. What quantity of sugar would be bought and sold in domestic markets at the tariff equilibrium? So what quantity of sugar would be bought and sold in domestic markets? Well, that includes both domestic production of 15 plus our imports, and actually, yeah, domestic production. And let's see, if you didn't have this tariff, it looks like we would have had 24 down here. But we have a tariff, so let's see, it looks like we've got 15 from foreign right there. But then we have grand total of 21. So it looks like that's 21. And what, 21 minus 15, 6. 6 of it's imported. What area represents a wasted resource when the tariff is in place? Well, wasted resources is supply curve shows marginal cost. So now we're taking these higher higher cost American firms and having them, this ground in the United States is not as effective in producing sugar. So B would be that cost. What area represents the lost gains from trade when the tariff is in place? Well, C. C would be the case that if the price went back to 9, yeah, we'd wipe out the domestic industry because that's where looks like Americans would produce no sugar at $9. But consumers would have gotten a much better price. Those workers would have gone to other industries. But this lost gains from trade would be C. Which area represents the tariff revenue? Well, the tariff revenue, you get a tariff as a tax on imports. Well, the imports is 21 minus 15. 21 minus 15 is 6, and 6 times 11. So because 11 is the 20 minus 9, is that area right there, that D. Suppose that instead of a tariff, the U.S. imposed a quota, in which case the government wouldn't have gotten any tariff revenue, which used to be a major source of revenue for the United States, not anymore, but it used to be. Under the quota system, well, the quota holder would be able to buy it at, 9 in the Caribbean and then sell it for 20 in the United States? That's a lot of money to be made on billions of pounds of sugar. If I had that ability to bring in that sugar, I would love it as a firm. So area D would be the gain for the quota holders. Would importers of sugar prefer a tariff or quota? Well, definitely I prefer a quota because they get the money. A government normally would prefer tariff because the government would get the money. Congressmen, well, that depends whether they're saying we want more tax revenue or whether I'm getting a lot of political contributions from the sugar lobby. Well, I hope that helped. Good luck on your quiz.